The manager stared at the quirky rabbit hat. A brilliant idea popped into his head, one that could totally tank the supermarket. He decided to let street vendors hawk their stuff right inside the store. When the store manager spotted this, he immediately started chasing the vendors away. But the manager stepped in and stopped him. The store manager argued that it was way too hot for anyone to buy rabbit hats. Plus, having vendors selling inside would mess with the supermarket's business. The manager insisted they give the vendor just one day to try it out. A little kid saw the rabbit hat and really wanted one, but his mom thought it was too hot outside and said no. Even when the kid threw himself on the ground and had a total meltdown, his mom still wouldn't buy it. The store manager witnessed this whole scene and walked over to the kid. He went ahead and gave the little guy a rabbit hat for free. That evening, the supermarket put on a talent show for their employees. Tons of customers showed up to watch. Mike heard some customers complaining that the music was way too loud, so he rushed onto the stage to shut it down. The employee who was the lead singer wanted to finish his last song, but Mike was ready to get physical with him. The singer's son immediately jumped in front of his dad. He was crying and trying to stop Mike from doing anything crazy. Everyone in the audience was totally moved by this scene. They thought it was all part of the performance. They were blown away by the supermarket's creative show. The manager's plan had backfired once again. As the audience was leaving, they noticed the vendors selling rabbit hats. They figured these were costumes from the show they just watched. Parents started buying them left and right for their kids. The vendors' business went through the roof. The rabbit hats sold out in no time. The manager then brought in a wild man to do some sales. Turns out this wild man had incredible knife skills. He quickly sliced up fresh fish into all sorts of fancy shapes. The housewives were instantly hooked. The wild man said all these samples were for customers to try. The customers asked the wild man to taste it first himself. After he popped it in his mouth, he immediately grabbed his throat. Everyone around thought he was choking, but the wild man was just putting on a dramatic show to prove how delicious it was. The housewives started fighting over who could buy it first. The wild man selling ginseng said he used the product himself too. He talked about how great it was for men's health. The guys looked at the wild man's buff physique. They were all tempted to buy some for themselves. The wild man's kid even secretly slipped the store manager a bottle.